Good morning. Welcome to Market Mashup, our weekly recap of financial markets and what we got on store for this week that will have an impact on stocks and bonds, looking at the different economic data points. I'm Scott Nasca, President, Generation Capital Management. Mixed week for markets last week. We had the Dow Jones down 0.15%, the S&P 500 up 1.62, and the Nasdaq was the leader, up 3.31%. For the month of January, good month for stocks as well, with the Dow Jones up 2.8%, S&P up 6.2%, and the Nasdaq was leader up 10.7%. So definitely a risk-on mentality for investors for the month of January. Things you want to point out with the bond market again, just take a look. The 2-year bond is up at 4.41%, and the 10-year bond is at 3.62%. So, just about an 80 basis point inversion, which means that the shorter end, the 2-year, has a higher yield than the longer end. And, you usually see these inverted curves when, we're seeing economic slowdowns or recession. So please keep an eye out on that because the bond market is definitely telling us something with the inversion on the yield curve, in the U.S. market. So pay close attention to that. I know, stocks will and the Fed will as well. We have a lot of, Fed board members speaking this week. Jay Powell talking on Tuesday. So you want to keep an eye out for that just to make sure, they're not saying anything or getting a clue in terms of what their thought process are. They just had a meeting earlier last week. So you want to take a look and see if anything has changed in terms of their thought process, anything different from the minutes that were released after their meeting. So, keep an eye out for that, especially with Fed Chairman Powell speaking, to see if there's anything different from or if he has any clarification from his Q&A discussion last week where, the markets did like what he was saying at that point. We had a nice rally right after the Fed minutes were released in his question and answer session. So keep an eye out for that. We also have jobless claims on Thursday and consumer sentiment on Friday. So, a couple more data points that, the markets will be paying attention to. And then also we have earnings. This is the second biggest week for the quarter in terms of earnings. We have Disney and PepsiCo as two of the bigger companies coming out. Get a good idea in terms of the consumer mindset with Disney and Pepsi, see if they're changing any spending habits with the consumers, if they have to have any guidance in terms of future quarters, if they see anything happy, the spending patterns. So keep an eye out for that because that will just reaffirm if there's going to see any slowdown that the bond market thinks is going to be happening right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Go to our website, www.gencapmgmt.com. Our team's ready to answer any questions you might have. Happy to give you a second opinion on your portfolio if it's something that you are, having some questions on. I'll be happy to answer anything that you might have. Just even to give reassurances that where you're invested is meeting your goals and objectives, and you're have the proper risk tolerances. So feel free to reach out to us, give us a call, send us an email. Glad to help out any way we can. Last week we had, some big company earnings coming out. Just want to stress that, the Apples, the Metas, the Googles, the Amazons, markets did react. So, markets are going to react to the data points that are coming out now. We're going to have a little more volatility out there. We had a good January, let's see if February can continue, but, just be on the lookout, don't, take what the markets give you and do the best you can, but pay attention to, the bond market as well, because that is important, as well as all the economic data that we talk about on our Monday calls that might have an impact too. So, this is Scott Nasca, President of Generation Capital Management. This is Market Mashup. Have a great week, everyone.